welcome to the AIDEM Interactions, a show where we discuss news in depth. And today we are discussing the Tripura elections, which is scheduled for tomorrow. And the results are out on March 2nd. So today, to discuss the polls in Tripura, we have Mr. Venkitesh Ramakrishnan, senior journalist, and someone who was associated with the Hindu for a long time. And we have Mr. Suvojit Bagchi, who was also with the Hindu and BBC and ABB group. And so let's start with Mr. Venkitesh Ramakrishnan. So what do you make of the election this time, with the left friend putting up quite a brave friend in the sense with the Congress and with this alliance, with unnatural alliance, so to speak, since we are sitting in Kerala and discussing this. So what do you make of the election first?
Well, I think, one of the most interesting things in this election is the rise of Tipra Motha, the tribal-based party. I mean, of course, the Congress and the CPM have come together and they have worked out some kind of an understanding. And they're giving up, from the field reports that I'm hearing, they are giving a good fight to the BJP, the ruling BJP. But the rise of the Tipra Motha, all political commentators have been talking about it. And interestingly, Suvojit has been in Agartala for the past 1 week or 10 days. If I'm not mistaken. And in the last election meeting, the leader of the Tipra Motha had a very dramatic announcement to make. He said that he will quit electoral politics after this election. And of course, he was very emotional. I think that Suvojit was there in the meeting. Suvojit, can you just enlighten us as to what exactly is happening in the last date of this very dramatic developments in Tripura?
Yeah, it was quite a dramatic development. At the beginning of the meeting, of course, it's a huge crowd. It's about 30 to 40 kilometers from here. And it was a huge crowd, predominantly of the local indigenous population, which is a combination of many tribes, about 19 or 20 tribes. People from villages across, in the hills of Tripura, they assembled there to listen to the Raja or the king. And the Raja, Mr. Pradyot Kishore Debbarma, who is quite a charismatic character in terms of not just the local politics, but he was earlier with the Congress, and he is quite a well-known figure nationally as well. Now, at the beginning of the meeting, he spoke for about 1 hour, and he was the only speaker. And at the beginning, he said that he's going to make an announcement. And he said that this is his last election meeting. From now on, he will never address his people, he said, and he's stepping out, moving away from politics. And it was an extremely emotional speech. At one point, his voice was choking. Apparently, he was, I don't know if he was kind of weeping. I don't know what, crying, how do you define it? It was not crying, definitely. It was something like he was very emotional. And the people also, I saw the women there, and a lot of men, they started crying, actually. And he said it's last election meeting. And he is not going to attend because he said that election has become, the whole process of politics has become extremely, notoriously filthy. So he doesn't want to take part in it, and he will step out. Now, that is one part of his speech. It's a long speech. So if we go to the second part, we would find that he is saying that while I'll step out, I will not leave my people. Now, that is very important. He is saying that his main driving agenda, which is to get a separate homeland a separate state called Greater Tipra land for the indigenous population of Tripura. As you know, in the turn of the century, in 1901 census, the population of the indigenous population in Tripura is 52%. So they were the majority, and now they are in the minority. They're somewhere between, I think, 28 to 30%. And so that is always a matter of great concern to the people of this part of Tripura, particularly in the hill areas. And these people, he said that his main agenda is to get the homeland for the Tripuris, for the indigenous population, and he is going to come up with something so solid, whether it's a legislation, whether it's a change in the constitution, that he has not mentioned, but he said that something very strong, so people are going to remember. So while he is stepping out of the mainstream politics, he is not going to really step out of politics, and rather he called it his last fight. Now that is a very emotional point. This is the king's last fight. So whether he made the appeal to win votes, or whether it's a political, I mean, there are many interpretations there. We can go to that. But so there are two parts of it. He's stepping out, but he's also not stepping out. So that's how I look at it. But it was definitely very dramatic at that point.
I was just wondering if Pradyot is just trying to figure out what he does next. In the sense, if the elections go as planned, then it's fine, whether, but still he's contesting only in 42 seats. So whether he can be part of a government, but then any of the parties which are in the, which are contesting polls, none of them are agreeable to his demand of a greater Tripura land. So is he hinting at stepping away just to concentrate on that single demand? That is just like Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao fought for Telangana. He's probably trying to take that route where he only concentrates on the statehood demand, and his entire political career will be devoted to that.
Well, at this point, he's saying that he is not interested in active politics. Now, having said that, there are a lot of changes, a lot of developments in the last few days. Well, firstly, it is quite clear that he's possibly not going to join the government, whoever forms the government, because once he joins the government, the entire focus will be on him, whether he gets that greater Tipra land for his people or not, which he will not able to get easily. And it's a very tiny population, to be honest, to have a state of its own. And the moment you accept that demand in Tripura, there are such many movements in Northeast, even in West Bengal. In Nagaland, there is an ongoing movement. There are two demands in Nagaland. One is of sovereignty and the other is of separate state. So, there are many such demands. So these will all come up. So that's not going to happen. And if he joins the government, it will be difficult for him to answer his people that why he is not meeting the promises, that he's making, that he's going to get the greater Tipra land for them. So he will not definitely going to join the government. But the politics has become very interesting. If we look at the speeches of the there are many parts to it. One part is how the BJP has attacked the Congress CPIM. They're not calling it an alliance; they're calling it a seat-sharing adjustment arrangement. And in that, the Prime Minister has attacked them, saying that Tipra Motha is supporting this Congress CPM jolt or the alliance. And the Home Minister, Amit Shah, has gone to the extent of saying that they have selected a face for them, which is Congress and CPM, which is the State Secretary of CPIM in this, the State Secretary of CPIM, which is Mr. Jitendra Chaudhary. Now, Amit Shah clearly indicated that Jitendra Chaudhary is the tribal leader. So, by saying that they have elected a tribal leader, he has indicated that they are trying to get this tribal vote and kind of in alliance with Tipra Mota. Now, this is a question which I asked Mr. Chaudhary. I interviewed him. I asked this question that how close they are to Tipra Mota. Now, he said he wishes that, I wish there was an alliance, there was a formal alliance. We are looking for that. But, this one demand we somehow cannot accept, which is of, an independent homeland. And thus we are not together. But of course, we are together. Now, when he says that, my next question was about this Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, if we go back a little bit, why there is Tipra Mota? Why it has become so strong? All the parties here, whether it's Tipra Mota, whether it's the Left Front, whether it's Congress, they are all against CAA. And anybody in Northeast now knows that the indigenous original population of the Northeast are, all out against this CAA or the Citizenship Amendment Act. So without Citizenship Amendment Act, Tipra Mota cannot be there. It's such strongly. Why? And on this, I spoke to another CPIM leader who is a candidate in a constituency, in a scheduled tribe constituency called Mandai, which is in the hill areas, partly in the hill areas. And he's a CPIM candidate, Mr. Radhacharan Debbarma. Now, he told me, yes, CAA is an issue. On CAA, we are all united. I mean, against CAA, we are all united. Now, that what brings to an extent. So there, the Prime Minister is perhaps a little correct that they are all united, not really on an electoral platform, but against the CAA. So inadvertently, it is bringing them together because they're all against CAA. But if you say a formal adjustment, no, they do not have a formal adjustment. Now, having said that, again, there is a BJP campaign that Tipra Motha is giving weak candidates against CPIM. Now, that is something which, well, I do not think that it is too strong an allegation. They're not repeating it also. So there are many sides to it. But at the center of it, I also did a copy on this, that center of it is CAA. That it is somehow bringing these opposition parties together because the people in the hills, whether it's Arunachal Pradesh, whether it's Assam, whether it's Tripura, everywhere people are against CAA in general. I mean, the people who are the original inhabitants, the so-called or the indigenous population, whatever way you call them, they think that whatever land they have, it's going to go because they were in Tripura, particularly they were in the majority, as I said, and now they are in the minority. So this has become the central theme of the politics, one of the central themes. And we have to see how it works out, how it moves. Of course, at this stage, Tipra Motha is doing very well, and there are 20 seats, 20 ST seats, and Tipra Motha has their candidates in all of them, and they are going to do very well, I think, at this point. And after this appeal of the king that this is his last fight, possibly, he's kind of projecting himself as a martyr to this kind of, very dirty politics as he has defined. It looks like that they are going to do quite well because the other party, which is with the BJP IPFT, that is the people, that is the another party which represents also the indigenous population and got about 8 seats in the last election. They are completely sidelined. There's an autonomous district council election in 2021 where they were defeated by this Tipra Motha. So Tipra Motha is going to do very well. Now, how well, we do not know. People are saying they will get definitely 10 out of these 20 seats, which is 1/3 of the total seats, which is 60 in Tripura. So they're going to get 10 plus, but these kind of conjectures go on. So we do not want to go into that. But they have a possibility of doing very well in this ST seats.
Suvojit, I had a question. How do you assess the impact of this dramatic election rally, the last election rally, in terms of larger politics? Is it going to help the left Congress alliance? I mean, of course, as you said, it will help Tipra Motha strengthen its own position in many of the seats, but it is not contesting all the seats. And left Congress is contesting in the remaining seats. I mean, in that also left is contesting the majority of seats and Congress is only contesting a handful of seats. So how do you look at the larger impact?
That is the most important question, perhaps, and the most critical question. And this is a question again which I asked to Mr. Chaudhary. And if you go to election rallies after rallies of the left Congress, and they are doing these rallies together. And Manik Sarkar, of course, is the star campaigner, as I can see, and I really do not know why he has not, why he's not a candidate in this election, because he is doing, it was said that he was not well, but he's doing 5 to 7 meetings every day. So, and running across the state, every day doing 5 or 6 meetings. He's 74 years old. It's not, you cannot be really sick. That's the last thing. You cannot be unwell to do that. And it's not, it's pleasant temperature here. It's not too hot, but nonetheless, he's doing 5, 6 meetings, traveling, 500 kilometers a day or even more than that. So, and people are coming to listen to him. Last time also, in fact, I've been covering these elections in Tripura for a long time. And I know every election, there's a lot of people are coming to see Manik Sarkar. And he's giving terrific speeches, I must say. And he's addressing this question in every, if he's speaking for, let's say, half an hour, then maybe for 10 minutes he's talking about this alliance, Congress and the left front, and there he's referring to this to Kerala. What about the Kerala model? I mean, if you're fighting there and we are friends there, what is this? And there is a popular coinage, in the Bengali part of the world, which is in West Bengal and Tripura, which is I do not know who invented it. Perhaps CPIM in Bengal or Mamata Banerjee. I do not remember. But since our childhood, we are hearing this, that Delhi mein dosti or Bengal mein kusti as in wrestling and dosti as in friendship. So your friendship, that Mamata Banerjee often used to say that the left has friendship with, in the UPA 1, has a friendship with Congress in Delhi and the kusti as in wrestling in Bengal. So this is something which the Prime Minister has said many times now, that, this dosti kusti in Kerala and Tripura. To this, Manik Sarkar has addressed it and said, why not? I mean, why not? That is democratic politics. I mean, this is a great thing in the sense that the CPIM has not been defensive on this. Rather, they are going out to say, why not? That is democratic politics. We can have difference of opinion. And what Mr. Jitendra Chaudhary told me, that yes, we have differences. We will have differences. We had differences in the past. We have differences now. And we'll have differences in future. But he said something very interesting, Mr. Chaudhary, to me. He said, to do all kinds of debates and discussions, you need a room. You need to sit down somewhere and have these debates and discussions. Today in India, that room is collapsing. Our parliament is collapsing. Our constitution is collapsing. So if our room is collapsing, where are you going to sit together and debate whether to go with Congress or some other democratic party, some other secular party, or whether we should go alone? For this, we need a space. And that space is disappearing in this country. In this situation, Congress agrees, and we agree that we should come together with our differences. Of course, they had quite a bloody relationship for all these years, 30 years. They have been fighting in Tripura. Congress was mainly in the opposition. So a lot of Congress people have this point to make. And that is why Mr. Sarkar or Mr. Chaudhary is making this point very clear in interviews, in press conferences, and in public meetings, that this is the time when they have to hold hands. Otherwise, there is no option. Congress leadership, like Mr. Mukul Vasnik, has been here for quite some time, and he has been saying the same thing. However, what is perhaps would have been better for this team, they are not calling it an alliance, for this team of Congress and the left, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi would have been here to campaign and say this as well, which he has not. And this is a question of, just today morning, I met some Congress, just ordinary cadres, and they said that why Rahul Gandhi is not here. If they are so willing, so much together, Rahul Gandhi traveling across the world, isn't this an important election? They have already given away most of the seats. Why is he not here? This is a question coming from the Congress, cadres, not the leaders, but the cadres. This is a question. So there are all sides to it, but definitely. And this is also a question.
If I can ask, that's a very important point that Rahul Gandhi hasn't campaigned. But you also mentioned that the Congress has taken fewer seats. So how do you see that split of seats? The left parties are contesting 47. That is 43 by CPM, 41 each by the Forward Bloc, CPI and RSP, and one independent, and the rest 13 by Congress. So how do you see it? Because the Congress has been accused in the past of demanding too many seats in Bihar, which collectively took them down in that election. So how do you see? Is it just a Sudeep Roy Burman party in Tripura now, or do they have the base to ask for more seats? Initially, they demanded 17, 20, but they came down to 13 now.
Yes, in the last election, they got less than 2% votes, in Tripura in 2018. However, in Lok Sabha election, it went up to 25% and the left came down to 17%. Now, the point is, so Congress could have argued that we got 25 in the Lok Sabha and we are rising again, But, well, for some reason, Congress, and this surprised many, that Congress has not really gone into a long-drawn, battle of that why we should I mean, we have seen this in Bengal in 2016, and they were fighting for many months on how many seats Congress and how many seats the left. And they could not finally even decide. I mean, some seats, I think they even had candidates of both the sides, both the parties. Now, in this case, Congress very amicably settled. Now, why do they do that is not very clear to me. They said, I mean, their national leadership, which has come here, they said that almost on the same line as Mr. Chaudhary has said, that, you know, it is important to protect our country and for the larger interest of the country, larger country's interest, to look forward to something in 2024 so that we can, this is a message also to the other political parties, I mean, bigger or smaller political parties, that yes, Congress is capable and Congress is willing to, play the junior partner and can, we can have all kinds of negotiation to give that indication, their indication to indicate that they have done this. Now, why Rahul Gandhi has not come? Well, one very weak explanation is since they're fighting in very few seats, so perhaps he didn't want to face the leaders and the cadres, particularly those who were expecting, nomination, etc., etc. Perhaps there would have been, as there's a tradition of Congress, that when they see the top leaders, they start fighting among themselves. It happens in every state. So perhaps he wanted to avoid that, and that's why he didn't turn up. But nonetheless, it was not a bad idea, I think, for Congress. I personally think, I do not know, but that they accepted that this leadership, this duo of Manik Sarkar and Jitendra Chaudhary coming together, and they are leading the pack, and they have come up accepted, despite the fact that Suvojit Bagchi is an important leader, is a very important leader. Despite that, I mean, they have kind of accepted that this is how we are going to take on the BJP. And so far, it appears it has worked. And there will be the vote transfer, as some people have, I guess there will be a vote transfer. If it doesn't happen, of course, BJP is going to win. Though BJP is also is, kind of putting their home together. They have got the
Suvojit, just a minute. See, the BJP chief minister has made an announcement even as recently as the last election meeting. He has said that, we want an opposition-mukt Tripura, an opposition-less Tripura. And of course, last election they swept. I mean, do you think that this election the BJP is on such a strong wicket? And what is an objective assessment of the ground level situation at this point of time?
Well, there is an anti-incumbency, and this is little surprising because, when BJP comes to power in a state, within 5 years, they do not face such a strong anti-incumbency. They are facing it here. And one big reason is that, I mean, almost everyone, even within BJP, people accept that, keeping this chief minister, Biplab Deb, for 4 years out of 5 years, he was changed last March, was a major mistake on their part. There is no doubt about it, because BJP people will tell you that Biplab Deb has completely failed. I mean, people in the state are very irritated with her. So that was one major mistake, which the opposition is also highlighting, that if they are so confident, why they had to change the chief minister a year before the elections. The other is there is an infight within BJP. There's a very strong infight. At one point, they said they're going to change all the the sitting legislators. But they have not. I mean, they have now going with this old pack. Now, why they're doing that? The young ones are not happy. Now, these are usual things. Now, realizing that the situation is difficult, the Prime Minister came twice in last 1 week. The Home Minister has been here. And BJP has this, and I have seen too many elections of BJP now and spoken to too many leaders across many states. And they have this, terrific ability to put all their forces together in the last 24 or 48 hours. And that is where they're brilliant at, in the sense, in terms of, whether it's what kind of, the chief minister, Mr. CPIM says it's money which is doing it for them. Whatever is it money? Is it something else? I do not know. But whether it's administration, there's an allegation now from both Congress and CPIM that very secretly, quote unquote, secretly, he has met Mr. Amit Shah has met the election officials, and they have lodged a complaint with the Indian Election Commission, the National Election Commission. CPIM lodged a complaint. Also, the Congress has lodged a complaint. Gaurav Gogoi, the Congress leader, has made an allegation. And Jitendra Chaudhary has filed a complaint that why he's meeting the election officials so late at night in the state 2 days or 3 days before the elections. So these things have been going on, and they have this incredible ability, and they are saying that they're going to get seats. But, it is, I mean, they are little, usually after 5 years, they're very confident. But that confidence somehow is lacking in this case. And I won't say, I mean, it's a 50-50 situation, I would say. It is very rare that the left can make it a 50-50 situation before it feels like that. The left in this case, unlike in Bengal, has managed to project some kind of winnability, that we can win. That winnability factor is very important in any elections. In the last election, really in Bengal, this BJP has projected that winnability, though they were defeated. But BJP projects that winnability way before the elections, that it is a matter of time. But here, the left and Congress has managed to project that winnability to a great extent. So this is indeed a 50-50 situation. And we'll look forward on 2nd of March what happens as the results come.
No, is the projecting of Jitendra Chaudhary, who is a tribal leader, as you said, does that make a difference from Manik Sarkar? And now there is Sudip Roy Burman, who is probably, if the left front comes to power, it might see the combination of Jitendra Chaudhary and Sudip Roy Burman as Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, assuming they come to power. So will that kind of a combination, Bengali and non-Bengali candidate, is that a factor?
Well, so far it has been projected, or it has been said unofficially, which Mr. Chaudhary doesn't accept, that, of course, he doesn't accept, that he is the chief minister face. But, in Tripura, the history of Tripura, since since independence, actually, there has always been this Bengali and tribal issue here. In the sense, it has been very, very sensitive. At one point, there was a very strong militant movement because of this in the state. And whenever you project, there was a tribal chief minister at one point, but that's a different time, way back, And so there is this factor, because after all these, the non-tribals are 70% of the population. So the moment you have a tribal chief minister, it becomes an issue. But then again, if there is some kind of backing from Tipra Motha, and then also Congress tries to project an image for the sake of the other states in the Northeast, the 2024 elections coming up. So this could be a possible situation. And who knows that, Mr. Sarkar may also come. Mr. Manik Sarkar is very well accepted by the Bengalis, by the way. And also to a large extent by the tribals as well, as I understand, or the indigenous population. So he also can be seen as a face. After the elections, we do not know. So there is other possibilities, and these things are all possibilities. Like, what will happen? Like, if everybody falls short of this 30-seat mark, and is there a possibility that some of the Congress MLAs may then join the BJP and form the government, and some of the indigenous MLAs come out? That is also a third possibility. We do not know that. At this stage, because Sudip Roy Burman was with BJP before joining the Congress. Before that, he was with Congress. He was with Trinamool Congress also. So he has been with all the parties. So he can go back, and today some people say that if he stayed with the, it is very interesting that BJP has not pushed him out of the party, despite the fact that while being while he was with the BJP, he was working for the Congress. Despite that, BJP has not thrown him out of the party. It was Mr. Roy Burman who has left the BJP and who has come out. So in this politics, how can you guarantee that tomorrow he will not go back? So that is another possibility. So these possibilities are all there. I'm not denying.
Suvojit, I just wanted to come back to this dramatic performance of the Tripura, the tribal Raja. Did he actually accuse any political side of kind of pressurizing him? Was there any indication of that effect? That he talked about dirty politics, but who was engineering the dirty politics? That is one question. The other question, briefly, we have not discussed the Trinamool Congress at all. I mean, in the sense, did they make any impact? Do they make any impact in this election at all?
Yeah, well, Trinamool Congress, surprisingly, Trinamool Congress, there are as many flags of Trinamool Congress in some parts of Agartala, the capital, as the left or the BJP. So it is interesting. And Trinamool, a number of leaders have come. I mean, their entire top brass has come. I mean, one of the top leaders, Abhishek Bandyopadhyay, has been coming almost every alternate day. Mamata Banerjee has been coming, and they have been constantly saying that they've been very serious, and they're bringing all these. We're talking about all these schemes that's been quite successful in Bengal. Partly successful, some of them are partly successful, some are quite successful, and they're talking about those that how they're going to be implemented. But as far as election is concerned, it has been a polarized election. It has been a polarized election because on one side you have this tribal Bengali factor because of CAA playing out. The other is the traditional, the right versus left thing happening. So it's a polarized election. In a polarized election, how much chance a third party has, I really have doubt. But of course, they have been fighting well. They're giving a spirited fight. They've been campaigning across the state. But I am not sure how many votes they're going to get.
Who will they affect more? Who will they affect more? Will it be the BJP or the left front as spoilers?
I really do not think they're in a position to affect anybody. And they'll be lucky to save, their deposits in even 1 out of 28 seats that they're contesting. They are not going to be, it doesn't appear that they're going to be a big factor. They do not have a very prominent leader. Earlier, they started very well in the state 2 years back. But now they lost that momentum because they do not have a leader like Suvojit Bagchi. If they had had Suvojit, then things would have been different. Now, or somebody else, but they have many leaders. They've tried many leaders in this. So I do not think that they're going to be a factor. It is a polarized election. Like the left Congress vote was not a factor in West Bengal. So Trinamool will not be a major factor. It appears, as of now, a factor in Tripura. On the other question of Tipra Motha, I mean, what was the question? Like it was, I just.
Did he specifically mention anybody who's creating this dirty politics? Did he point towards the center? Did he point towards the CPM? Was there any clear pointer as to?
No, he hasn't. But one thing he has said that he has been targeting BJP. He has not been targeting Congress on the left as much. And yesterday also he targeted the BJP and saying that they are doing this election with the help of money, and those kind of allegations. As in, he said that I'm doing politics out of love, and they're doing politics out of money. They're pushing money and things like that. He targeted the BJP. However, Jitendra Chaudhary, the left chief here in the state, has said in the press conference yesterday that Mr. Debbarma has told him that he was taken to Delhi to talk to the Home Minister in a chartered flight, and there he was threatened. Now, but this is coming from Mr. Chaudhary. He said that, and I quote him, that I do not know whether Mr. Debbarma will accept this or not, but he told me that he was threatened by the Home Minister and the BJP officials. So this is Mr. Chaudhary's, he said that in a press conference. So this is where it stands at this point, and then let's see how it goes from here.
So that brings us to the end of the conversation. So thank you very much, Suvojit, and thank you, as always, Mr. Venkitesh Ramakrishnan. So the Tripura elections are scheduled for tomorrow, 16th February, and the results will be out on March 2nd. So let's see whether this election can change quite a few conventional norms in Indian politics. We look forward to that.
And let us get together and discuss not just Tripura, other issues. Suvojit is an expert on very many issues in this country. I mean, he's a very long experience as a journalist in Kashmir. So, and then also covering Bengal, Northeast. So we'll come together again as part of these AIDEM interactions and carry on this conversation.